Okay, so we are going to look at the concept of biology and its relationship with biochemistry. What is biology? Biology is the study of life or is the study of living organisms. So biology is all about life. Whenever we are talking about biology, so the person that come into our mind is life. And we have many living organisms that exist on Earth. Some we knew them and some remain unknown because of the organisms we have on Earth are many, billions in number. So that is why some are known, while some are unknown. But in biology, you are always trying to study life. So what is life? There is no actually a single definition of life. Yes, life is a process. So there is no specific definition of life. But we have properties of life, and these properties of life, but organization, this organization is how living organisms arrange themselves starting from atoms. So atoms like carbon, nitrogen, oxygen form a molecule, and then these molecules form monomers. An example of these monomers we have amino acids, nucleotides, fatty acid and glycerol and simple sugars. They are the monomers, which then later form macromolecules. In these macromolecules, we have carbohydrates, proteins, and then fat and oil. That is macromolecules. And these macromolecules rearrange themselves using non-covalent bonding, like hydrogen bonding and van der Waals force of attraction to form what you call supramolecular complexes. And the supramolecular complexes are, of course, a form or a complex form of macromolecules. And of course, we have some particles that sometimes we consider them as living, but they are not living because they are at a supramolecular complex level. Example, we have virus prions. Prions and virus are the examples of supramolecular complexes. So virus, it is at the level of supramolecular complexes. That is why we consider virus as a particle because it is not living. And of course, it's this supramolecular complexes from organelles of the cells like mitochondria, nucleus, Golgi body. And of course, the cytoplasm and the organelles of the cells constitutes to form the cell itself. And of course, when we said cell is the structural and the functional unit of life. So life is all about cell. So without a cell, there is no life. And as I said, we have classification of this cell, which is unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular means those organisms that have only one cell, example bacteria. And then we have multicellular. And multicellular meaning that are organisms that have many cells. So how do we obtain this multicellular? Multicellular are obtained, of course, through different levels. Similar cells from tissues, and then similar tissue from organs, then organs, the system. Of course, 9 systems in the living organisms, but the 5 sense organs form complete living organisms. So for the tissue, we have different types of tissues that are found in humans. We have connective tissues, epithelial tissue, and we have muscles tissue and the nervous tissue. Muscles tissue and nervous tissue are called excitable tissue. What are excitable tissues? Are the tissues that have responsible for actually uh, amplifying, or that are actually used as an electrical signal. So they are operating using electrical signal. And then the next properties of life apart from organization is metabolism. What is metabolism? Metabolism is the total number of biochemical reactions, biological reactions that are found in a living organisms, and each of every living organism have its own specific number of reactions that are taking place in that particular living organisms. Like in human, we have at least 1,300 reactions in the human body. And this is because at least in a human, there are over 1,300 enzymes. And each enzyme is responsible for catalyzing one type of reaction. That is why the equal number of the enzymes is equal to the number of the reactions. Equal number of the enzymes also equal to the number of the reactions. So in the human genome, we have this number of enzymes, and each enzyme is responsible for catalyzing at least one type of reaction. And of course, in 1 minute, you can have thousands or millions of reactions that are taking place, because some reactions in 1 minute, they can actually catalyze more than 100 reactions. So we call it turnover number. In 1 second, one enzyme convert reactant to product, come back, convert another substrate or reactant, then we produce another product. So that is why in just 1 minute, especially in human, the human system, because of its complex nature, millions of reactions can take place in 1 minute. And then we have different types of this metabolism. We have catabolism and anabolism. So catabolism is actually a process that involves the breaking down of large molecule of foods into, or large molecules into smaller one. Like for example now, this is a complex molecule, it's a large molecules. So look at how these large molecules break itself to form a smaller molecules, and these are the smaller molecules. Look at them here, they are the smaller molecules. So in the process, as this complex molecules is breaking into smaller ones, there is a release of energy. Energy is produced, and it's this energy that we use for our normal daily activities or for the functions of our body system. And apart from catabolism, we also have amphibolism, where smaller molecules, like look at it from here, smaller molecules here, here, and here joined together to form a larger one. So it's a synthesis. Small one synthesize large molecules. You see, in this process, in the case of catabolism, energy is released. And then in the case of anabolism, energy is actually consumed. So there is an uptake of energy at this level. And then the next properties of life is homeostasis. And what is homeostasis? Homeostasis is just to maintain a balance in a living system. Like for example, the body temperature is 37 degrees centigrade. So it should be maintained within that 37 degrees centigrade. Because if it is below, there is a problem. And if it is above, there is also a problem. So we have what we call a control system, where we have receptor, control center, effector. Once ever there is a change, the receptor will detect the change, and then the control center will just actually, like brain, now sense change, and then sends the change to the effector, and then the effector will now reverse the change and you maintain balance. Another properties of life we have growth. Growth is a permanent increase in size of a particular cells or of a particular living organisms. Of course, growth occurs in two ways, either through enlargement of the cell or increase in the cell number. But mostly we human, we grow through an increase in cell number like mitosis. So through mitosis, one cell divides into two, 2 into 4, 4 into 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. That is how the cells will be divided, and that is how we grow. But there are some cells that do not actually divide. There are some cells that their number still remain since we were born. Like brain cells and the heart cells, they don't divide, but they only increase in size. And that is how brain and heart grow. And then we have reproduction, that is ability of living organisms to give birth young ones. And of course, reproduction is usually happened through sex cells, which is sperm cell and egg cell. The sperm cell and the egg cells will now join through fertilization to form a zygote. And these zygotes will form what you call morula, starting from blastula, then morula, where we have stem cells, that is the cells that have the potential to differentiate into different cell types and their response. So each and every living organism's response to change. And then evolution, that is how living organisms change over time. Like for example, human. The types of human we have today is different from the type of men that existed 1,000 years ago. So those kind of change that happened in a particular living organism over time due to change in the environment, as well as the mutation in the DNA, is what leads to evolution. Okay?